Hello and welcome to the Fine Roots. My name is Tian, and today we're gonna talking. Well, I'll be talking about or an update on rediscovering myself and what it means to embark on this journey. And I've been calling this episode as podcast, but I feel like it's going to be more of a journal than podcast. So here's to that. So on the last video, you could say, I was in a pretty rough state, you could say. I was feeling down, and life was hitting me. You know, there was like this cloud over my days. I couldn't see very far. I felt pretty shut down, and I feel like these are like the moments that defines a person, whether or not, if I get shot down, do I stay there? Do I feel sorry for myself and begin to blame things that are outside of my control? And instead of doing that, I can take control over the things in my life. And so I realized that, or after feeling sorry for myself and kind of questioning myself and my life and kind of going through the motions, you can say, like if I were to jump into the water, I question myself whether or not I made the right decision. And the things that are happening in my life, like, am I still aligned with myself, and am I still going in the right direction? And so when things like that happen, I feel like it is good to be shot down, because it gives me time to kind of reflect, which is exactly what happened when I was kind of like in this down state. Because when I'm down, I can't really go anywhere. I'm kind of like in this rut or this mud. I'm stuck. So it prevents me from moving any faster or any further. It's almost like life is telling me, hey, just chill for a second. It's going too fast and you need to kind of recalibrate. And so I realized that after being down that, well, no one is going to come and save me. No one is going to come to my door and do anything for that matter. I have to do things myself. And I have to pick myself back up. I have to improve my own life in the ways that I wish to improve on. And so the first thing that I had to improve on was my surrounding. And that is like my space where I spend time at home. So I noticed that I didn't really put care and attention into where I lived. And so, for instance, I would finish eating and I would just leave the dishes in the sink, and one thing led to another. So like the dish and the clothes and things start piling up, and I realized that, hey, if I don't clean the dish, it won't clean itself. If I don't do the laundry, it won't clean itself. I have to do it. And so from those small moments, I realized that it is me who has to make changes and do something about things in my life that I want to improve on. And so it started in the home, and I started cleaning up my space, my surrounding, and prioritizing spending time at home more, because I used to spend a lot of time outside of my home because I didn't really want to be home in a way. I just didn't want to come home and kind of face all the things that I put away, or try to put away at least. But it's all there. It's not going anywhere. And so, little by little, I picked up after myself by my surroundings and prioritizing my time where it needs to be. So for instance, if I have this weekend, I would rather go out and hang out with my friends, but I can't because I have to clean my space. I am a little bit behind, and moving forward, if I don't do this, it's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to take more time, and it's going to make me more off balance. So the better I get at holding this routine, or the better I get at maintaining this kind of habit and prioritizing my time right, spending it right, and make sure that my foundation is solid before I do anything else. That is going to be a priority that I cannot compromise on, because if I do, everything else is going to have a consequence for it. And so that was the other thing that came along, that I realized that every action that I have has a consequence. And whether it is, you could call it positive or negative, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that everything that I do has a consequence or an effect. For instance, if I have 10 minutes right now and I decide to, you know what, I'm just going to lay down and scroll on my phone because that's comfortable. And I decide to do that. And that means that that 10 minutes might bleed into 30 minutes and 1 hour. And the consequences for that is that, well, my dishes are still here and my clothes needs to be clean. And that's going to be piling up. And so if I don't do that here and I go out in the world and I do the same thing, for instance, there's a task that I need to do, but I decide to just put it off and I end up forgetting it. And that also has a consequence. And so that goes with everything, with the food that I decide to eat. Like, let's say today I decide to eat very clean. I make food at home. That has a positive consequence in a sense that I will have the proper nutrition, or clean nutrition, you could say. Or maybe it will take less work for my body to break down the food, versus if I ate food that was heavily processed, it would require my body to use more energy to break it down. And things like that. And so everything has a consequence. No one is coming to save me, and I am in charge of my own path, or I'm in charge of my own destiny, you could say. And I don't attract, or I heard something that said that you attract what you are, not what you want. And this also made a lot of sense, because if I am not physically capable of doing something, so let's say, for instance, if I cannot lift 50 kilos of rice, for instance, and there was a guy, all of a sudden, he came out of nowhere, and he said, hey, I have this organic rice, wild rice, that we have harvested. Would you like to have it? And I say, yes, absolutely, but I can't carry it. Well, I cannot manifest, or I cannot have it because I'm not physically strong enough to take it or accept it. A better example that could capitalize on this is that if I have no sail, if I have not built any sail at all, and then all of a sudden one day the wind comes, and I tell myself, hey, look, there is wind. I need to build a sail. And so by the time I'm building the sail, the wind is gone. I lost my opportunity. And so I have to become what I want to get what I want. I have to be physically strong enough to be able to accept that manifestation, or to even harvest that manifestation, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do that. And so becoming a better version of myself, becoming the best version of myself, because why not? What do I have to lose? Why not be the best version that I can be? Why settle for less? Like if I was an apple tree, why not just become a tree that can have apples? Why just settle for less and decide not to have apples when I know that I can? And so this journey forward now is about that. It's about becoming that version of myself. It's about the journey of life. And I think my friend Rita, she said something that really stood out to me. And she said, life is not all about knowing the answers. It's about the journey of the questions. Sometimes you get the answer, sometimes you don't. And that's life. There's a question, there's a curiosity, and on you go. What's north? You sail to the north and you figure out what's there. And sometimes you find what you want, and sometimes you realize, hey, the north is not worth going because it's just filled with ice and polar bears. There's no paradise here. Well, let's go south. So you have to go backwards, and off you go. You go down south, all of a sudden you realize again, well, there's also polar bears and ice here. Let's maybe go to the west, and off you go. And so I like this way of approaching life. You have a lot of questions, and that becomes the journey of life, just unfolding one question after another. Sometimes you get the answer to that question, sometimes you don't. And that's life. I feel like a lot of times I try to find or attempt to find the answer, and I get desperate for finding that answer, like what I'm supposed to do and what's my life about, blah blah blah. But it is more so, well, if I don't know, the journey of that right now is to find out what that is. If I don't know what I want, well, the journey is to find out what that is. And instead of feeling stuck or feeling frustrated that I don't know, it's better to know that I don't know, so I can embark on the journey to know, versus I don't know, and I just kind of feel hopeless and give up and feel frustrated that I can't find out. So it was a beautiful saying that stuck with me. So thank you for that, Rita. And my other friend, Victoria, again, she said another thing to me when I was down that stuck with me, and that was, are you being honest with yourself? And for some reason, it It was the way she asked me, and the way she looked at me when she asked me that question, that made me really like dig, and made me really like question it, because I thought I was honest. I really thought I was. But apparently I wasn't. There were things that I didn't even consider. For example, the things that I were eating. Was I being honest with myself? Did I enjoy what I eat? And did I feel like eating it after all? Or did I do things because I wanted to? Because it made me happy? Did I even do things because it made me happy? Or did I do things because I felt like I had to do it because of external reasons or what have you? And so that made me question even life even further. So, well, here I am, figuring things out, putting myself together again. Because after I got divorced, I lost a big part of me, and I didn't realize how big it was. But 13 years of someone's life is a big piece of energy that has been dedicated and is directed to this person. But when you remove that, all of a sudden it's like, well, what do you do? And so now life becomes finding out where that energy goes. Where does it belong? Where does it go? And in what ways does it move? Or what ways does it go to? Where do I want to dedicate that energy now, all of a sudden? And so it's been a beautiful journey. But I guess no one prepares. You can't really prepare for things like this. It's just life happens, and just one day at a time. And if you're out there and you're listening and you're also trying to put yourself together, just know that you're not by yourself. And all we can do is just take it one day at a time. And it takes time, you know. No tree, no nothing grows overnight. But as long as we water that plant every day, take a little bit care of it, a little bit every day, it goes a long way, you know. Like, it doesn't rain every day, but plants and trees flourish because they keep growing. Regardless of harsh times or prosperous times, they keep on moving forward and grow until the day that they can no longer grow. And so I'll think I end this here. And if you are in a situation that is hard, and you have no one to talk to, just know that you can talk to me. I'm here. If you need an ear, or just need someone to get it off your chest, or what have you. Because it sucks to feel like you're alone, but know that you're not. Life is hard, and it's better that we go through it together. Wherever you are, whatever you are, we'll be fine. One day at a time. With that being said, I wish you the greatest to come your way, and the strength to pull yourself out of wherever you are, or if you are in a good space, then may that blessing continue. Whoa. It's starting to crack. Well, I think that should end it. I will see you on the next journal, or I think it's gonna... Okay. Ciao.